Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Dakota. Today, SBEV just filed an 8K and I'm seeing a pivot that could change everything quick. Note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. This filing reveals a significant investment and leadership shakeup that aims to reposition the company entirely. Alright, so Splash Beverage Group Incorporated filed this current report, essentially telling us about some big moves they've made. The dates here are the 8th of June and the 9th of June of 2026, which means this is very fresh news. The company Splash Beverage Group is making some waves with a couple of key announcements. First up, they've entered into a pretty interesting agreement. On the 9th of June, they invested over $217,000 to buy shares and warrants in a company called Avicanna Inc. Now, Avicanna is a biopharmaceutical company that focuses on cannabis or cannabinoid-based products. And guess what? Splash says this aligns with their plan to become a health, wellness, and healthcare-focused platform company. That is a big shift from what they were doing before. Then on the 8th of June, they made a big change in their leadership. Michael Bondurant has been appointed as the new Chief Operating Officer. Mr. Bondurant sounds like a seasoned pro. He has built and scaled businesses in banking technology, and even cannabis. He was previously the Chief Operating Officer at Bloomer Wellness Corp, which merged with Cresco Labs for a considerable amount of money, so he clearly knows how to grow a business and navigate those complexities. And good news for shareholders, there are no special deals or understandings that would suggest any funny business behind his appointment. Now let's talk about the money involved for their top brass. Brady Cobb, their interim chief executive officer, has some pretty aggressive performance bonuses tied to the company's market capitalization. He is looking at a base salary of $300,000 plus bonuses that could reach up to $350,000 in 2026 if the company hits certain market cap targets, like reaching over $10 million. If they grow their market value by $5 million by late October, he gets $50,000 extra and another $50,000. If they hit 10 million by the end of the year, plus a potential 3% bonus on anything above that 10 million mark, up to an additional $300,000. And Michael Bondurant isn't doing too badly either. He has got a base salary of $275,000 and similar bonus potential tied to market cap growth. He could also earn up to $350,000 in bonuses in 2026 based on hitting those market capitalization milestones. On top of their salaries, both Cobb and Bondurant received significant stock options. Brady Cobb got 925,000 options and Michael Bondurant received 800,000 options. These options are exercisable at just 25 cents per S-hair, giving them the potential to make a lot of money if the stock price goes up. Other key people are also getting options. Martin Scott, their chief financial officer, received 700,000 options, and directors Francis Neutel, William Capel, and Thomas For each got 500,000 options. Even some consultants and former executives are getting stock options, like Justin York, William Meisner, and Robert Nistico, with varying vesting schedules tied to their agreements. This shows a clear incentive structure to align everyone with the company's success, especially during this transition period. Now, for something really interesting, the company has approved a new restricted stock unit, or RSU plan, called the Strategic Transformation Restricted Stock Unit Plan. This plan is designed to reward the successful transformation of the company and the creation of sustainable stockholder value, not just a quick transaction. This RSU plan could represent a massive 20% of the company's fully diluted shares outstanding, which is currently around 8.37 million shares. This means potentially over 1.6 million shares could be allocated through this plan. It is important to note this plan needs shareholder approval and is a condition for any major strategic transaction, like a merger or acquisition. The vesting is structured around key milestones. 50% of the RSUs vest upon the closing of a strategic transaction, including shareholder approval of the RSU plan itself. Another 25% vest when the company achieves compliance with NICE listing standards, which is a critical point given they've had notices about equity deficiencies. And the final 25% vests 6 months after they achieve NICE compliance, provided they continue to provide services. The core idea here is to tie compensation directly to the successful transformation of the business and achieving long-term shareholder value. This is a big signal that management and the board are committed to this new direction and are putting a significant amount of their potential compensation at risk until they deliver on this transformation. Looking at this filing, I see Splash Beverage Group making a bold move to pivot into the health and wellness sector, with a focus on cannabinoids. The investment in Avicanna Inc. is a clear indicator of this strategic shift. They are clearly signaling their intent to leverage opportunities within the rapidly growing cannabis-derived health products. Market the appointment of Michael Bondurant as COO brings in someone with a proven track record in scaling and turning around businesses, which is crucial for a company undergoing such a significant trend. Formation, the performance compensation structures for Brady, Cobb, and Michael Bondurant are heavily weighted towards market capitalization growth. This suggests management is confident in their ability to drive significant value creation, and the stock price is indicative of their commitment, the introduction of the strategic transformation restricted stock unit plan is perhaps the most telling aspect. It locks the incentives for management directors and key advisors to the successful completion of a strategic transaction and achieving critical post-transaction milestones like NICE listing compliance. This isn't just about a quick flip, it is about building sustainable shareholder value through a complete business overhaul. The risks are obvious. This is a high-risk high reward strategy. The success hinges on closing a major strategic transaction, achieving NICE compliance, and ultimately establishing a profitable business in a highly regulated and competitive market. Historically, companies undergoing such drastic pivots face immense challenges, and many do not succeed. The P equal trajectory for microcap companies attempting a complete business model overhaul can be volatile. The fact that they are directly linking a significant portion of compensation to NICE compliance indicates they are aware of the current challenges with their listing status. What I am actually looking for is more details on the specific strategic transaction they are pursuing and how they plan to navigate the regulatory hurdles in the cannabinoid space. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives.